For joining us. A funeral is currently underway. Are mourners adhering to the lockdown restrictions that of 50 or less persons or less people? And we've seen in the insert that we've just ran now, some mourners expressing their dissatisfaction that this is absolutely untenable.
Good morning to you, Simpiwa. I think the funeral behind me, and I'll step out of shots so Tobani, my cameraman, can just show you that this funeral, I feel, will be an example to other funerals around the country that people, when a regulation is passed, they can adhere to it. When we got here, Simpiwa, one of the family members assured me that there will be only 50 people at this funeral, and when people don't comply to that number, he will actually put them aside. And when a few minutes ago, we saw some people actually being turned away from this funeral and be told to walk outside the funeral and stand outside the funeral, because important to this family is to making sure that they comply with the regulations for the sake of the safety of the people at this area. So really encouraging to see that although social distancing is not adhered to here, but in terms of the regulation that has been passed, the 50 number has been adhered to. But joining me this morning, Simpiwe, is Odwa Duhu, who's a funeral parlour owner here in PE. Tell us more about the challenges and some of the stuff he has seen as someone on the ground dealing with funerals, which are an occurrence every Saturday here in Port Elizabeth. Odwa, let's just first talk. You are on the ground every single Saturday, most times in PE. You are dealing with people. What are some of the things that people are saying on the ground, especially during this time of the 21-day lockdown?
Well, most of the time, families are much disappointed with the number that has been reduced. Remember, the number was at 100. And now, after the starting of the 21 days lockdown, the government tried to minimize, the spread of the COVID-19. So they at least reduced the number from 100 to 50. And to them, really, as you can see, there is a challenge. Now I was just talking to one of the family members, saying that's my aunt who's being buried there. The funeral, and I'm number 50 something, so I cannot attend that funeral. Then it means he must be, our people.
Key to all these funerals, also the workers on the front line, the funeral parlours. Early on, we spoke about the fact that many of your workers, also their safety is compromised. Have there been really a good communication in terms of how to deal with the bodies that are infected, and are you as workers safe on the front line?
Well, let me start by saying, in Port Elizabeth, in this area, Nelson Mandela Metro, I haven't had a single person who has been buried, because of the. But generally, we are at risk, because at the mortuary, we're dealing with so many bodies, and one could not know the main reason for the death of those bodies. So it is a challenge to us. Number two, I must stress this. All the funeral parlours, I'm urging that when they work, especially those who are working at the mortuary, I'm not talking about people in the office, as well as in the office they should be, but those who are working at the mortuary, they must have their masks. Whether you are working there, you're not working there, you must wear your mask and you must wear your gloves.
Lastly, we spoke earlier on about the poor communication during this 21-day lockdown, that perhaps the measures came nationally, but in terms of coming down to the metros, there's been poor communication with funeral parlours as to what mustn't you do, also the safety at these funerals as well.
Lerato, we've been complaining to government, especially our municipality, because the channel of communication needs to start from national, province, and municipality. There was no communication whatsoever. I will stress that. And appealing to our government that whenever they are passing any new laws, any amendments, they need to communicate that, via the structures. For instance, we were not aware or we were not informed as to how do the family members attend funerals outside the other provinces and other regions. It was a stress to us. People used to come to us and say, owner of the funeral the permit, and we are not issuing any permits. Permits are issued at the police station or at the magistrate court. So those are the things that people didn't know. I like the fact that now Minister of COGTA, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, she has amended some of the rules to say, even if you are a member of the family and you need to attend a funeral, let's say you are attending a funeral from Pretoria to Johannesburg, you have to have a permit. You've got the right to attend that funeral.
That was from Otoduku Funerals, just saying that he really has been encouraged that people in the metro have so far adhered to the 50 people regulation, also saying that as much as they can, they've also tried to maintain social distancing. But what has been a concern to him is the poor lack of communication from national to municipalities, saying that most of the times they've had to just do things as they so please because there's been poor communication to the funeral parlours who work all the time here on the ground. But for now, let's go back to you in studio.
All right, Lerato, thank you so much for your time.